Welcome to the StockMentor.com studios here in the Black Hills of South Dakota. I'm your stock mentor, Brian Johnson. I'm making professional trading simple. And we got the move after the consolidation today. Big move to the downside. I made a mention yesterday of the news and how the news will just follow the markets. And this was a good example again today of how the markets were kind of the news was playing off of the markets. If you took a look this morning, it mentioned that the markets were down because of the flat unemployment rate, flat numbers from last week on the unemployment rate. Which, if obviously, if you were watching last week when initial claims came out, that was when initial claims were not very good and the markets moved up. So the markets are just going to do what they're going to do, and the news is going to come up with a reason for why things moved up or down. But that doesn't really tell us anything in the grand scheme of things. So we watch the charts. I made a mention yesterday that a move up and over this 10450 area, that would be watch for the bulls to cover if it broke above this fan line here. Watch for the bears to cover and more bullishness to come in. We never saw that from the get-go. We gapped down and ran straight down most of the day up until the end. Then we got kind of a wild ride into the last half an hour, 15 minutes or so, pushing it back up and above this support area, which is what the bulls wanted. They did not want to fall below 10,250. They definitely don't want to fall below 10,200, and that's are the numbers we'll be watching in the Dow moving forward. One day left in the week. You can see that the move, notice how we hit the top of this line again and moved down today. The bulls did a pretty good job actually of bringing it back up by the end of the day. But look what we've seen. We've seen hit, hit, even double hit, double hit. Most of these try to punch through before moving back down. This one did the same thing, moving back down. Now, whether or not it turns and tries one last step is anybody's guess. We will continue to watch and see for a break above these highs. Then the bears will cover, bulls will take over, more buying pressure will come in. But a break below this 10,200 could push us right down into the 20-day moving average on the Dow. It has been the strongest, so it will probably continue to look the best or the strongest from a technical analysis standpoint until we see it get down here and start to break these 50-day moving averages and such, which is still providing excellent support down here for the indice. If we move on to the NASDAQ, you can see on a 60-minute, all these bull flag formations we were looking at on 60 minutes, all the bullishness that we were watching yesterday, all of it was all for naught today. They were all broken formations. This was a bull flag. It broke to the bottom. We never got the break above this upper channel line, never got an entry, hence we never got long this particular, or the indice. All day long ran straight down. Now notice how the NASDAQ came below this previous support and stayed there by the end of the day, showing that once again the Dow remains the strongest of the three at this point. So the NASDAQ moving back up, looking for a break above here. Now it's got to get above this area here, and if it does, I would watch for more bullishness to roll in, if it can get up and stay above this for any length of time. But for right now, trapped below resistance. This is why the bulls really wanted to see this thing close up above this line, or at least on it. They certainly didn't want to see it close at its lows. That would put it outside of this channel line. We've seen it's held very strongly, and the last time it broke and went below it, it didn't have such a good week as it progressed down. Then it pulled itself back up again. But there's only so many gasps of air these indices can come back up for before gravity takes over and a larger pullback comes into play. When that will happen and how deep that will be is what we are going to be watching for in the future. But for right now, we're just continuing to watch the markets hold their head above water for the time being. Here is a very big rising wedge that we're watching at this point. A break below here is a good entry to the short side, which we got today. Move back up and over this 1800, especially the 1825 mark. I'd be out of those if you're looking at those. But depending on how far out your puts are, you could be okay. I'm still feeling pretty comfortable with some puts that I've been in for quite a while. we'll see how those all play out as we push forward. NDX on a weekly, you can see it hit and hold that area. Remember I said we're up there. Let's see how it holds, and so far so good. We have 1 day left in the week, so hard to tell at this point just what we're going to see tomorrow. But I guess I wouldn't be surprised to see this finish with maybe a doji. Maybe we move up a little bit tomorrow, try to make everybody happy on a Friday. SPX on a 60-minute coming all the way down and really testing these lows and not being able to get very far up. See how it's still holding below this resistance? SPX is still weak. The banks are not looking all that good right now. They are weighing things down. Below this, look for it to test this 1085 area. That's also this trend line here. I wholly think that will hold on an initial bounce here at 1085. Sorry about that. I cannot multitask, man. I got to focus on this one thing and quit looking at other stuff. So a break below 1090 takes us to 1085. I do think it will bounce or at least pause right here at the 1085 mark. It is previous support from back here. I will draw that line in as well to show you later on in the day. Anything below that is really going to make the bulls a little bit nervous, at least in the short term, if they can't hold that area. From a daily standpoint, you can see it get up and over, and I love that it was holding from a bullish standpoint this upper line here. But today we didn't get that break above 1113. I said a break above 1113 to 1115 puts us back into this higher area. Would be a good time for an intraday long. But we did not see that at all. No entry at all on that today. Straight down back into the support line coming up and through. This goes way back a few months, actually. This little thin blue line does. And notice how it's still acting as very good support on the way back down. This is why I told you to be very careful to the long side and to intraday trade the long side, because you could have woke up at any moment and the market would be down 20 points. And that's kind of what we saw today. They are not going to give you probably a lot of opportunity on the short side once this thing starts to once the bears start to really grab this thing and head down. You won't get a lot of chances to get out of your longs, so you got to be very careful going long up here. That's why I'm always suggesting just intraday trade the long side. From a weekly standpoint, bouncing off that lower trend line nicely. We'll see how that closes tomorrow. The VIX had a fantastic day going. Notice how we were way up here in the 24 area. This is the one thing today that was a little bit, that's too bad on. As an option owner, I love it when I can buy the VIX low and let the VIX run up high. I thought I was in good shape today. VIX was up as much as I think about 9% is where I saw it. I know I saw it at 7. I think I saw it at 9% up at one point today. Huge move back down. Fear coming back out of the markets late in the day. We'll see if that turns around by tomorrow. From a weekly standpoint, kind of trying to want to retrace and touch this dotted line back here. See how the weekly closes tomorrow. Apple, no entry.